CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Arundhati Ramanan, and here are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Sensex and Nifty hit record highs as bulls attempt to end 2023 on a high, strong note. Sensex soars past 72,000, Nifty gains over 200 points. Financials and IT stocks lead the rally. Auto component maker Happy Forgings lists at an 18% premium on Dalal Street. Credo Brands and RBZ Jewelers make a lackluster debut listing at the issue price. An unprecedented shareholder coup at Dish TV leaves the company without a functioning board for a brief while. 4 remaining independent directors get voted out by a majority of institutional and retail investors. Company inducts 2 others to the board. Wipro takes former CFO Jatin Dalal to court. Dalal worked with Wipro for 21 years and joined Cognizant earlier this month. The details of the dispute are unclear, and Dalal seeks arbitration in a counter move. Israel steps up the offensive in Gaza, striking 200 targets in 24 hours. Israel's army chief says the war will continue for many months. Nearly 21,000 Palestinians have died so far, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. At least 25 people were hospitalized after an ammonia gas leak at a Coromandel International Industrial Unit in Ennore on the outskirts of Chennai. The Coromandel unit has been ordered to shut till further orders. Rahul Gandhi announces yatra from Manipur to Mumbai, plans to cover 6,200 kilometers across 14 states and 85 districts from the 14th of January in a roadshow titled Bharat Nyaya Yatra. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you. Let's start with the market action of the day. Bulls maintain their winning momentum on Dalal Street as they hope to close out 2023 on a positive note. Sensex and Nifty hit a record high in trade. It was green across the screen. The rally was led by financials, especially PSU banks, but it was also a volatile day of trade. Prashant Nair is here with all of the market action. Prashant?
Well, participation may be thinning out. More people may be away from their desks, but that doesn't mean that the market cannot rally on. That is exactly what today's session has showed us with all 3 indices, the Nifty, the Sensex, the Nifty Bank hitting new highs, new all-time highs, that is. We did that in the first half of the day. There was a bit of a lull for a few hours, and then starting 3 p.m., there was another move which basically added another full 1% on indices like the Nifty and the Nifty Bank. So a super session and really, adding on to what has already been a remarkable move. Mid caps and small caps up on your screen. So it was the advanced decline. If you look at the broader market, it was largely 1:1. And if you look at the top volume-led gainers, the list is made up of names which you don't hear very often. These are newer names, smaller names, but it's essentially rotation out of top performers already finding new ideas. That's essentially what is going on. Top sectoral gainers, public sector banks, autos, metals coming through. Large caps, Nifty. There were metal stocks like Hindalco, JSW Steel, which did well. Cement was a theme, Ultratech, Grasim, and auto stocks, Bajaj and Tata Motors really stood out. In the broader market, names like Bharat Dynamics, defense name, Sona Comstar, Hudco, Honasa, which is Mama Earth, Aarti Pharma were some of the others which did well. Pullbacks in names like Vedanta, Inox India, which is a recent listing. For the last few days, it's been down. KPI Green, JSW Infra, and Subex Limited also gave up a little bit. Nothing to really complain, with just 2 days more to go to wrap out this year. And we are already, higher than where we were last Wednesday when we had that single day worth of shakeout. Back to you.
Right, Prashant. Many thanks for those details. Now, a slew of IPOs listed on Dalal Street today. Happy Forgings made a strong debut. The stock listed at an 18% premium to its issue price of 850 rupees per share. Now, the IPO was oversubscribed over 80 times with heavy bidding from qualified institutional buyers and high net worth individuals. Happy Forgings is the 4th largest manufacturer of high-precision machine components in India. Now, Credo Brands Marketing made a muted debut on the bourses. The shares opened flat when compared to the IPO price. The issue was subscribed over 50 times with strong demand across the board. Credo Brands is an apparel retailer operating under the Mufti brand.
Congratulations.
RBZ Jewelers made a weak debut on both the NSE and the BSE with no premium and no discount. The stock was listed at 100 rupees per share, the same as its issue price. But this was not the case with the company's IPO. The issue was subscribed almost 17 times with a whopping demand from retail investors and qualified institutional buyers. But it seems like stock market investors are now playing with caution. In a blow to existing promoters, majority shareholders of Dish TV voted out 4 directors. The company has said it has appointed 2 new directors with immediate effect. This comes after stock exchanges imposed penalties on Dish TV over composition and lack of quorum for its board meeting in August this year. Mangalam Malu is here with more. Mangalam, talk to us about what happened over there.
An unprecedented move at Dish TV. What exactly happened is that on Friday, the 22nd of December, there was an extraordinary general meeting to consider reappointment of a certain director and appointment of 3 directors as well. But in that, what has happened is shareholders have voted against the reappointment of Shankar Agarwal and the appointment of Rajesh Sahni, Virendra Tagra and Anchal David as well. More than 71% of shareholders have voted against this ruling, and that is an unprecedented move because the company is now left with just 1 board member. And as a result of which, what exactly happened was that the company had to go ahead and approve the appointments of other directors on the board as well. Sunil Khanna as an independent director and Ravi Bhushan Puri as an executive director. So now, as these 2 individuals sit on the board of the company along with another director, what's needed now is a shareholders' approval for these 2 appointments that the company made. So we'll be awaiting details on another extraordinary general meeting that will take place, and the shareholders nod on the appointments of Sunil as well as Ravi too. And all of this in light of news reports that Subhash Chandra Goenka himself is looking to buy some stake back from JC Flowers, which owns about 24.2% stake in Dish TV that they bought from Yes Bank. So from a stock standpoint, not much has happened because the stock is still being a laggard, almost a penny stock with a 20 rupee move. But from a corporate development standpoint, it is quite unprecedented.
Absolutely, Mangalam. Thank you so much for those details. Now, oil prices fell in early trade, trimming strong gains from the previous session. This as major shipping firms began returning to the Red Sea despite continued attacks and escalating tensions in the Middle East. Now, companies are taking this step following the deployment of a multinational task force to the region. Oil prices saw a sharp surge in the last few sessions due to fears of supply disruption as well as hopes of US Fed cutting interest rate cuts that could boost growth and oil demand. But the attacks by the Houthi rebels are likely to continue, with Israel vowing to escalate its offensive in Gaza after Prime Minister Netanyahu said the war is far from ending. Israel's military chief said the war will continue for many more months. France has condemned Israel's bombings and has called for immediate truce, leading to a ceasefire. Meanwhile, the United Nations has appointed a Dutch politician to oversee humanitarian aid entering Gaza. The appointment comes following the Security Council's resolution adopted last week. Further, top Israeli official Ron Dermer met U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in Washington. White House said the officials discussed about bringing home the remaining hostages, governance and security in Gaza, and transitioning to a different phase of the war to maximize focus on high-value Hamas targets. And back home, in a move to help coconut producers, the Union Cabinet has approved an increase in the minimum support price for copra or dry coconut for 2024. MSP for milling copra has been hiked by 300 rupees per 100 kilos and ball copra by 250 rupees per 100 kgs. Wipro has filed a suit against its former chief financial officer Jatin Dalal in the Bengaluru civil court. This comes after Dalal quit the company after a 20-year stint and joined Cognizant at the start of December. Rima Tendulkar is here with the details. Rima, what does this mean for Jatin Dalal at this point?
Thanks so much for that. So first, a quick background. Now, Jatin Dalal used to be the CFO of Wipro. In fact, he's been a Wipro veteran with the company for 21 years and as the CFO since 2015. In the middle of the year, he announced his decision to step down from Wipro. His employment contract terminated in November, and in December, he joined a rival company, Cognizant, as the CFO of the company. Now, on the 28th of November, Wipro filed a case against Jatin Dalal in the Bangalore Civil Court. we don't have a copy of that, the case which has been filed by Wipro. So the contents of that are not clear, and the reason for, filing this legal case against him are also unclear. But it's quite common in the industry, and I'm sure in corporate India, where senior level, management employees join rival companies, competitors. In fact, in the case of IT itself, 2 former Infosys presidents went on to lead Cognizant and Tech Mahindra, and all this has happened only in the last 1 year. But legal suits are fairly rare. We just try to recall some of the recent legal cases which have been filed against employees by companies, and the ones that come to our mind. One of them was Wipro Chief Growth Officer Stephanie Trotman was sued by Accenture for a breach of a non-compete clause. Perhaps she joined Wipro, while there was expected to be some cooling off period. Another one, and a famous one, was Infosys former CFO Rajiv Bansal was promised a severance package, but he wasn't granted it in entirety. And there was a case going on between the two, and finally Rajiv Bansal came out on top. And finally, there was also one more where Wipro filed a complaint case against Mohammed Haq, a senior SVP and head of healthcare for America. This was for reportedly carrying confidential information. Again, in this case, we're not really clear the reason why Wipro has done it against Jatin Dalal, but it soured the sentiment. And plus, remember, Wipro right now is battling a spate of senior level exits. The stock today was a bit under pressure. Wipro is not commenting on this story. CNBC-TV18 has reached out to Cognizant, reached out to Jatin Dalal, yet to get a response from them.
Right, Rima, many thanks for those details. Now, SBI has hiked deposit rates on certain fixed deposits by up to 50 basis points. The hike covers several deposit brackets, marking SBI's first significant adjustment in 10 months, and joins the likes of Bank of Baroda, Federal Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank, who have raised their interest rates on fixed deposits in December. The series of increase in FD rates across many banks comes after the Reserve Bank of India kept repo rates unchanged for the 5th time at 6.5%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is set to meet managing directors of public sector banks on December 30th. We learned from sources that cybersecurity, willful defaults and banking frauds are some of the issues on the agenda. Sources have also indicated that the Finance Minister will also review the progress of bad bank. This will be the last full review meeting before the 2024 budget presentation. Atanu Chakraborty has been reappointed as the part-time non-executive chairman and independent director of HDFC Bank. This will be his second 3-year term with the bank. However, the decision is still awaiting RBI's approval. Zomato has had a good run on Dalal Street in 2023. Its share price has doubled so far this year, with mutual funds betting big on the stock. The total stake held by mutual funds is valued at more than 11,000 crore rupees at the current price. Sonal Bhutra is here with those details. Sonal?
Well, Zomato is definitely one of the outperformers this year after underperforming for a fair bit. The stock is up 113% year to date. Remember, it listed back in July 2021 at 120 rupees a share. It hit a high of around 169 rupees a share. And last year, it hit a low of 40 rupees a share. And since then, we have seen a one-way rally on the stock. And looks like it is led by a lot of mutual funds buying into the stock as well. Now, number of schemes, mutual fund schemes that is, that have invested in Zomato has increased from 99 in September 2022 to around 215 as on October 2023. This is as per data by Value Research. So if we just map it and look at the number of schemes that have invested in this particular stock, they have increased multi-folds. From around 99 in September 2022 to 107 last year December. It then increased to 113 on March 2023. Then June 2023, 5 more schemes added on to that. And now if we look at October 2023, there are 215 mutual fund schemes which have invested into the Zomato stock. Now, at current market price, the value of mutual funds who have invested in this particular stock, or the value of mutual fund holding in this particular stock, is at around 11,441 crore rupees. And various mutual fund houses have actually invested in these in this name. Some prominent ones actually. ICICI Prudential Balanced Advantage Fund has 1.27% stake. There's Nippon India Large Cap Fund which has 1.29% stake. Axis Mutual Fund in terms of long-term equity fund has around 1.36% 1.36% stake. There's Mirae Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund, which has 1.48% stake, and Motilal Oswal FlexiCap Fund, which is at 1.91%, one of the largest mutual fund holding into the stock as well, which are some of the names that come on the shareholders list as well. So definitely a lot of stock coming into the Zomato stock. They are biting into this one.
So mutual funds betting big on Zomato there. Thank you so much for those details, Sonal. Now, Intel is planning to build a $25 billion plant in southern Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government has agreed to give about $3.2 billion in grants to the U.S. chip maker to build the factory. Now, the new plant is scheduled to start operations in 2028. Intel said that the factory is key to foster a resilient supply chain and amid changing geopolitics. SoftBank will receive shares in T-Mobile worth over $7 billion at no additional cost. The Japanese conglomerate has told the U.S. telecom operator to issue nearly 50 million shares in common stock. This comes after conditions were set out in the merger agreement between SoftBank, Sprint and T-Mobile were met. Shares of SoftBank jumped following the development. Chinese online gaming stocks regained some lost ground after the country's gaming regulator agreed to modify and improve new draft rules. The proposed rules seek curb spending and rewards that encourage online gaming. However, gaming stocks like NetEase, Tencent recovered only a fraction of the losses recorded on Friday. On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, ammonia gas leak reported at a Coromandel International Industrial Unit in Ennore on the outskirts of Chennai. Details when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Business 360. Now, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh is in Jammu and Kashmir. The visit comes after 4 soldiers died when militants ambushed their vehicle in Poonch. Meanwhile, the Jammu and Kashmir police has registered a murder case in connection with the death of 3 civilians who were allegedly picked up by the security forces after the ambush. The Defense Minister said he has full faith in the army to wipe out terrorism without directly referring to the civilian killings. Rajnath said such incidents cannot be taken lightly and called on the army to earn the trust and faith of the citizens. He is scheduled to meet the families of the civilians who died after questioning the army.
सिक्योरिटी और इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी दोनों ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाते हैं और लगातार उनके द्वारा भी यह प्रयत्न जारी है यह उनकी यह भूमिका और भविष्य में ज्यादा इफेक्टिव हो। जो भी शासन की तरफ से सहयोग की आवश्यकता है अथवा भविष्य में भी जो शासन के सहयोग की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी उसके लिए हम सरकार का खजाना पूरी तरह से खुला हुआ है। मैं यह भी मानता हूं कि इस प्रकार की घटनाओं को टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड नहीं लिया जा सकता है। हमें और सजग रहने की आवश्यकता है।
More than 40 people have been hospitalized due to uneasiness following a gas leak at a fertilizer manufacturing plant in Tamil Nadu's Ennore. The leak was found in the sub-sea pipe of Coromandel International. Jude Sannit joins us now with the details. Jude, what do we know so far about the incident?
Well, the incident has pretty much meant that 25, yes, early in the morning were reported to be hospitalized. But what we can confirm from the ground is that nearly 42 people have been hospitalized so far, insofar as that incident is concerned, while 8 others approximately did make visits to the hospital as they claimed, of uneasiness, breathlessness, headaches and irritation in the eyes. Remember, the incident in question, as a press release from Coromandel International says, was a liquid ammonia leak that was detected in an undersea pipeline belonging to Coromandel International. The big takeaway, of course, is that Coromandel International itself has announced temporary suspension, quote-unquote, of their operations at the Ennore minor port. This even as the company says they're in the process of rectifying and recertifying their buoy and their mooring port terminal at the Ennore port. Remember, this comes even as of 11:30 p.m. last night. Coromandel International says there was a pressure difference that was detected at this undersea pipeline in question, after which it was determined that there was in fact a liquid ammonia gas leak. The ensuing incidents resulted in multiple people in and around 4 fishing villages in and around Ennore actually going about reporting illnesses, like I said, uneasiness, breathlessness, and of course difficulty in breathing and irritation in the eyes. Interestingly, while Coromandel International first said that the situation was pretty much under control and that normalcy within this, this mooring terminal had been restored, the latest that the company said was the fact that they were temporarily suspending operations, even as a recertification process was currently on, as the issue is currently being rectified there.
All right, Jude, thank you for bringing us the latest from Ennore over there. But with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Business 360. Many thanks for watching, but stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news continues on the other side.
CNBC-TV18.